Hi, let's talk about food. I've just had this thought for this video a couple of moments ago, so this will be the most unstructured thing I've ever put up, probably, but I want to talk about it. So here we go. I guess at this point I should include trigger warnings for eating disorders / disordered eating in general, and if you're uncomfortable with that, don't watch this. My relationship with food is strained. I've never had an eating disorder, but there's definitely been some disorder. I guess it's kind of difficult for me to talk about this because I realize that I do not have an eating disorder, and I don't want to make it sound like I have it as bad as people who struggle with anorexia or bulimia or anything like that. And I don't. I struggle with food, but for other reasons. There are a lot of different elements that come to play with my struggle with food. For one, there's the most obvious one, which is that I have IBD. I have a chronic bowel disease. So there's lots of food that I can't eat. I can't have very greasy food. Interestingly enough, though, a lot of fried stuff is fine. There's not too much of it. There are some vegetables that I struggle with. So bell peppers are a no-go. Sometimes tomatoes, especially interestingly cooked ones, are just a bad idea. Spices, like anything spicy, as in hot, as in curries or chilies or whatever, I'm out. but even sometimes just some herbs. So the food that I cook is sometimes very bland because I only season it with salt and pepper and probably soy sauce. And that gets boring so quickly. Then there's my ethics. I definitely make it harder for myself by not eating meat and wanting to go vegan, and it's causing a big dilemma for me because sometimes I will stand in the supermarket wanting to buy something vegan that I can afford and that I can eat, and I've literally started crying in the supermarket because I couldn't find food that I wanted or that I felt like I wanted to eat that aligned with what I could afford and with my IBD and with my morals. And I know that my ethics and my morals have to take a step back, but it's difficult because I do care a lot about animal welfare and about the environment. And if you want to save water and if you want to save the fucking climate, then stop eating meat. But it's not always possible for me. I have stopped eating meat because there's also the factor that I'm just completely grossed out by the idea of eating a carcass. But dairy and eggs, sometimes I just have to make the easier choice, and that's the non-vegan one. And I feel guilty about it. And I keep telling myself that I don't need to because I do what I can, but it's this nagging thought at the back of my mind that this doesn't align with what I think is right. Lately, I've also found that I have a big problem with the texture of some foods sometimes. For example, I absolutely love avocado, but there are days when I just can't cope with the texture of it because it has this not slimy feeling, but slimy. And sometimes I can eat it if it's mushed up like in guacamole or just mashed on top of toast, but sometimes even that is just bleh. And I love avocado so much, but can't always have it. And zucchini is the same thing. I love zucchini, but sometimes that squeaky when I find something that I do like, I tend to cling to it. I will have the same food and cook the same dish over and over and over again because I know that it's safe. And then I get sick of it. It might be my favorite food, but I will have it so often that I will be sick of it for a couple of months and then I have to find something new. For example, I almost don't dare to admit this. Right now, I'm getting kind of sick of hummus. I fucking love hummus, so I've kind of stopped eating it for now because if I get sick of hummus, that cannot happen. And I saved the most difficult thing for last, but I also have an emotional problem with food sometimes. When I was severely depressed and living on my own kind of in London, I stopped eating. There were times when I ate barely anything for a couple of days. It was definitely part just not wanting to eat because I didn't feel like doing anything, least of all eating. But it was also definitely part of punishing myself. Like I would almost feel glee about feeling hungry, and that's not healthy. Literally not healthy. And I definitely still see that today. If I have a bad day or a bad phase in general, I stop eating. Food is the first thing to go. And I've also lied to friends if they check in and ask me if I've eaten for the day. Unless they're physically there and see that I haven't eaten, I will say, yeah, sure, I haven't been that hungry, but I did eat. I don't really know how to talk about this with anyone because it's not an eating disorder. It's a struggle that comes from a lot of different corners and that just on some days combines into this big ball of I wished I didn't have to eat food. Mostly in terms of I can't have any of these textures right now. I don't know what food would be okay for me to eat, like safe for me to eat for my stomach. So much so that sometimes I just wished I could take a pill or a drink or whatever that will just provide me with nutrition for the whole day and I would not have to think about it again. Sometimes eating is very difficult for me, and that's so heartbreaking in a way because I love food. I love preparing food. I love going to restaurants and discovering new dishes. I'm not very experimental. I've never been that, but now even less so because I don't want to end up with really, really bad stomach pains. But it's difficult. It's like this relationship where I just constantly try to break up with food, but food won't let me. I mean, in the end, that's good because, I mean, food is quite awesome. I'll just have to take things day by day. There's no escape from food. At least there shouldn't be, because then I would starve and die. And we don't want that, do we?